Yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good? That's right. The Boxing Source here is back with the midweek report on December 6th, 2023. We got, a few things here that we're going to be talking about. Yeah, there's a lot that, we have to catch up on. I've been, out for a week, on vacation for a week, chilling out with the family and everything like that. But now we're back into it, back in the gear, and we got a couple of events coming up here on Saturday that we're definitely looking forward to, especially what's going to be happening in San Francisco with the WBC Super Lightweight Championship on the line, with Regis Prograis defending that WBC title against Devin the Dream Haney. And this is a really, really important fight for both of these fighters. Of course, Devin Haney is the former undisputed champion at lightweight, 135 pounds. And then you got Regis Prograis, who is now the two-time world champion at 140. His only loss that he had was against Josh Taylor in the World Boxing Super Series, a very close fight that he had with Josh Taylor, where, some people may have thought that Regis Prograis won that fight. But he ended up being on the short end of the stick in that particular fight. Had to work his way back to get a world title, got a world title, WBC belt, and he's had one defense, of course, against Danielito Zorrilla. And now his next bout here is against Devin Haney. Devin Haney coming up to 140 pounds to go ahead and face Regis Prograis, who some may say might be the number one fighter at 140 pounds. I mean, if you check, what is it? The Transnational Boxing Rankings Board. They have Regis Prograis up there within the top one or two in the 140 pound rankings. You know what I'm saying? Confirming here, like he's like there at number two, of course, like Teofimo Lopez is a lineal champion there at 140 pounds. So because he defeated Josh Taylor, but outside of that, now you got Regis Prograis, right under there, being the top basically contender for that lineal title, I guess, that Teofimo Lopez has. And folks have seen what's going on with Teofimo Lopez right now. So at this point, we're just looking at who we got now. We got Regis Prograis. We got Super Matias, of course, that won his latest bout, here the past weekend. And we got to figure out what's going on with Robeisy Ramirez. So the 140 pound division is pretty deep there at the top there, within the top 5 or 6 fighters. But now Devin Haney is putting his name in the hat, and we got to see here, man. He's here undefeated. Undefeated. Going up to 140 at 30-0 with 15 knockouts. Regis Prograis, like I said, has one loss. He's 29-1 with 24 of those wins by way of knockout. And the thing is here is like a lot of people are saying like, hey, this could be a really, really big challenge here for Devin Haney, but I mean, I don't know. Real quick, salute to Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more, man. Salute to you. Of course, y'all go over, check out, if you haven't done so already, y'all check out Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Definitely has some great conversations there on his channel and great analysis on fights, past or present. So you be sure to check out Bruce over there on his channel. Now, like I was saying back in reference to this fight, we, got to look at, what's going down with this, fight between Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. Devin Haney is what I'd say the taller fighter there, with the longer reach, but even with that, it's like, like I said, he has less knockouts than Regis Prograis. What is it like? Like I said, 30 wins, 15 knockouts. He had his fight earlier this year against Vasily Lomachenko. That was a close fight that he ended up winning there. But outside of that, some people thought that fight was very close. So here he is with another challenging bout against Regis Prograis. Like I said, Regis Prograis is there, 34 years old. 5'8" with a reach of 67 in comparison to Devin Haney, who is there at 25 years old, 5'8" with a reach of 71. So he's going to have the longer reach. He's going to be able to use jab and mobility and see if he could, keep Regis Prograis off of him. And the thing about it is that, yes, Devin Haney is coming up to 140, but Devin Haney, to me, has had the frame of somebody that's around 147. I've seen that from him since like 2019. So if he's able to, control his weight and then, like I said, make weight for this particular fight, we got the weigh-ins coming up in a couple of days. And so as long as he's able to make that 140, he can rehydrate. He could get himself back up to whatever he wants to. He could probably be about 143, 145 at fight night going up against Regis Prograis. And, with Regis, he's going to have to be able to, use his inside boxing in order to, get the most out of Devin Haney. And that's my thing. I think with Regis Prograis, it's all about, getting into the inside, tying at least one of his hands up and just using your free hand in order to work Devin Haney. Some folks are saying like Devin Haney might, jab and grab or, hit and hold or something like that. But if he does that here against Regis Prograis, that might be, something that might count against him, because I feel like Regis Prograis is a very good inside fighter, and that would be definitely key here in this bout coming up on Saturday in San Francisco. And for Devin, it's more about him, trying to give himself to, work a big lead here early. Use a jab, use the footwork, use the distance to, get the advantage over Regis Prograis in the early rounds, before getting to the second half of the fight, and that his reach will be definitely key here in this bout against Regis Prograis, that, where it's going to be where Regis might have to figure out how to adjust to that, or just say, you know what, I might have to eat a jab or two, but if I have to eat a jab or two in order to get myself, a good shot in there, then I'll do that, because I feel like it's going to be more about the pace of the fight is going to be controlled by Devin Haney over the course of the fight, unless Regis Prograis says, you know what, if he's going to be, opening here with a jab, then okay, we'll see how he paces himself with a jab. If he, has a certain level of timing with that jab, I'm going to time that jab and I'm going to come back at him, So, that would be my thing is, how is Devin going to kind of like go at this particular fight, early. Now, this is going to be Haney's second consecutive fight against a southpaw. Of course, he's fought, Vasyl Lomachenko with southpaw, and now here he is against Regis Prograis at southpaw. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Alan Two Saints in the building. What's going on with you, man? Good that you are able to join me here live here on this midweek report. We're back at it. Like I said, this is going to be his second consecutive fight here against the southpaw and Regis Prograis. So what did Devin Haney learn going up against Vasyl Lomachenko with him being a southpaw as far as like positioning is concerned that he could use here against Regis Prograis? Of course, these are two completely different fighters in Vasyl Lomachenko and Regis Prograis, with, Lomachenko's movement and, his ability to, switch styles up is going to be that's a much different pace than what Regis Prograis does. You know what I'm saying? So now with Prograis, he might have like I said, a different style. His inside game will likely be different, but it might end up being like a rougher fight for Devin Haney, of course, with the size being a factor here, and also, the power coming out of Regis Prograis too. So that's something that, Devin Haney has to watch out for. Is his defense, going to be on point? And what I mean by that is that it's not going to be the distance. It's just going to be, keeping his hands up, seeing what's coming from Regis Prograis, especially, with him being a southpaw. So you're going to have to watch out for that left hand. And while your right hand is going to be down, you're gonna have to watch for the left hand coming out of Regis Prograis. So you're gonna have to probably have your guard up a little bit more, have that backhand, the right hand, a little bit more closer to you to see what's going to be coming from Regis Prograis. Because like I said, for Prograis, I feel like he might have to say, you know what, let me see if I could figure out what he's going to do with his jab and time his jab and everything like that, and then just respond to that. Whether it's something where, I'm coming in, myself with the right jab after his jab, or I say, you know what, I'll catch him, before that left jab gets back to, before his left hand gets back to, his body. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's more about what's going to be the pace of Devin Haney going into this particular fight. And it looks like, with him being in his hometown or his home area, there, San Francisco, Oakland, there's going to be, a very good turnout for this particular fight. That there's going to be a good amount of pressure there for Devin Haney in this one. And it's something where he could potentially do something where he could have a case for Fighter of the Year if he's able to score a win over Regis Prograis. So this will be two big wins, Vasyl and against Regis Prograis, who, like I said, is among probably top 1 or 2 fighters. They're at 140 pounds right now, So he's getting into this to see if he could be a 2-division world champion, and kind of make a statement there at 140 with, the fighters that I mentioned before. Like I said, with, there you have Teofimo Lopez. We don't know what's up with him. You got Rolly Romero. He says he's injured, and you got Subriel Matias, who defended his IBF belt there against this mandatory. And, a number of people are saying that, hey, maybe it's Subriel Matias that's the number one guy 140, but we're going to see how that all turns out. But before I go into more into that, I have a great guest here with me that's just getting back on the scene. You know what I'm saying? He's out and about. He's working on it. He got a fight coming up next year. MVO's out there training, man. What's up with you?
Hey, what's going on, JR?
Hey, I'm all good, man. We back at it with the Boxing Source Midweek Report. Looking forward to these fights coming up here, man. Haney versus Prograis. I feel like it's going to be a close fight. And, I think, even with Devin Haney, what I say Devin Haney is like a minus 400, 4-1, in this.
Yeah.
Regis Prograis is like plus 300, and that's on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. So they're really leaning towards Devin Haney in this, even though, like I said, he's coming up to 140, and Regis Prograis is a 2-time champion at 140.
It's actually surprising to me that Devin Haney is such a big favorite.
Yeah,
because I feel like for someone who's so defensive, he gets hit a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
and like Regis Prograis could crack. Like, say what you want about Prograis, he can definitely crack, and I think that's going to be a problem for Devin Haney because his chin is still questionable.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, with the stats with Regis Prograis, like he has 30 or so, or 28 or 29 wins, 24 of those wins by way of knockout. And all being there at 140 pounds. So you're facing a guy that could really crack. Like you said, they're at 140, and it's like if you've been getting caught by guys at 135, how are you going to deal with it at 140? So that's going to be something. And like I said here, man, there's a lot of people that are interested in this fight in reference to Devin Haney and seeing if he could pull off the win. But if he loses, that could be a ripple effect, man. I feel like it could be a ripple effect, not just at 140, but also at 135, because, they still have those possible matchups, down the line with the likes of a Shakur Stevenson or a Tank Davis,
Yeah. But
And
the problem with Devin Haney is that I don't think he has enough power to get Regis's respect and keep him off of him. You know, I think this fight we saw is similar to O'Shaquie Foster in his last fight. You know,
against Rucker Hernandez.
yeah, it just felt like no matter what O'Shaquie threw at him, the guy just kept coming and coming and coming until, you know, until basically he was able to fend him off at the end. The thing about Regis Prograis, though, to me, Regis Prograis don't get tired. You know, we saw him in his biggest fight. Yeah, he lost against Josh Taylor, but he finished strong. And that was against a bigger, stronger guy that was fighting dirty, tying him up and trying to beat him up. And he was still able to put in a lot of work against Josh Taylor, especially towards the end of the fight. So I'm wondering what tools Haney is going to have to disarm and beat Regis Prograis. And also, Haney has struggled against southpaws.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, second straight fight against the southpaw. You know, we saw what happened with Vasily Lomachenko. So
yeah.
Now we got another one here in Regis Prograis, who, you know, was a different style, but has, you know, a lot more power behind him than Vasily Lomachenko does. We got, you know, another person coming in. It's your favorite guy coming in here to join us. It's the boxing academic, man. You know what I'm saying? Boxing academic in the building. What's happening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a public service announcement for the brother MVO.
All right.
What up, though?
How you doing, MVO?
I'm good. How you doing?
I miss you, man.
I miss you too, brother.
Hey, man, don't be telling me Hey, MVO, I just wanted to let you know something.
I'm listening.
You don't know shit about boxing.
So break it down. Break down this fight.
What fight you talking about?
Prograis versus Haney.
I ain't watched enough of Prograis to really speak.
Oh, Mike. So what the hell? So what the hell are you talking about?
I mean, you be coming in saying that shit to me. I mean, I kind of wanted to say it to you one time.
I thought he came in here and he was about to make some salient points and show that he's a boxing academic.
Man, I was just talking. I was just talking and shooting the shit, man. It's been a while since I've seen you, you know? Heard your voice.
Might have to change his name to Boxing Special Ed, man. What's going on with this guy?
Oh, no. Come on, man.
But what I will say, though, is that from the eye test, Devin Haney should win the fight, to me.
But based on what?
Based upon my view of the old 140-pound division, which Regis Prograis was a part of that division, and his inability to separate himself from the group. He was part of that crop of people that was okay, but they wasn't that good. They was just, you know, like some extra regular boxers. And then,
do you include Josh Taylor in that?
I mean, Josh Taylor beat everybody else, didn't he?
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who thought that Prograis actually beat him.
Won that fight.
I watched, tried to watch some of it, but then I just wasn't like, I don't. Maybe I was like doing something else, but I didn't really watch all of it, so I can't speak on it. But I know that with the last couple of fights of Regis Prograis, something looked weird about it. It was like, I ain't gonna say I'm not saying it was boring, but it was something weird about it that I just couldn't follow it. Maybe I was doing something else.
Good.
But the thing is, though, you had that fight against Zorilla. That was his last fight, right? You know, that was around his, you know, home area of New Orleans. That was something where that was like a tough matchup. Zorilla was like a much taller fighter and is has a weird style, weird fighting style, you know. So it took him a good little time to adjust in that. And even though they say it's a split decision, like two of the scorecards in Prograis' favor were like, you know, 118, 109, and like 117, 110. So And like that particular fight, like I didn't really see much from Zarilla that could say that he, would have won anything close to the majority of those rounds. He had the thing where you had the knockdown that, I don't think that they had scored. Yeah, they didn't even score that. And then, even so, you had Regis Prograis score knockdown in round 3. So like I don't really like kind of count that against Prograis in a sense, because that was like a completely different style that I don't think he was, really accustomed to, fighting against.
So who y'all think gonna win this fight? That's the better question. I know y'all already spoke on it, but just quick synopsis.
Well, for me, I'm thinking Prograis could pull this off. And the reason why I say that is because his level of experience overall and his level of experience in fights of this magnitude. I don't think that, Haney has something that could really, as MVO said, I don't think Haney has something that could keep Prograis off of him. And I think Prograis has more tools to, really get to the inside and really work Devin Haney here, that where Devin Haney kind of doesn't make enough adjustments to get the upper hand in this. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards Prograis in the fight now. Like,
what kind of amateur background did Devin Haney have?
Remember,
did he go to the Olympics?
No, remember he started fighting. He started fighting a pro at 15.
Late. Yeah. Okay, so they both started fighting late. So there's no drastic style matchups that one of them had over the other one. So yeah, it might be up in the air. It ain't no, strategic sort of thing on that part. What about you, MVO?
I'm leaning towards Prograis for the simple fact that Haney struggles with southpaws. Haney struggles with guys with power that can box. And I feel like that combination is something that Regis Prograis has. Also, Regis Prograis has been at the weight for longer. He knows himself, basically. He really, really knows himself. So I'm thinking he's gonna end up winning, and I think he might get a stoppage. We'll see.
What I know, I didn't bet against Devin Haney, but I was questioning him winning some of them fights, and he proved me wrong. So I do believe that Devin Haney he does enough to what he needs to do to like win the fight, at least for the first 6 or 7 rounds. And then he have a, big enough lead to where he essentially coasting toward the end.
Yeah, but I mean, he
gonna jab and grab.
Yeah, but how effective is his jab going to be against a southpaw? He has struggled to establish the jab against southpaws.
That's a good point, because they both gonna be throwing their rear hand.
Yeah. So I mean, and my thing was, like I said, for Prograis, he could send a message early as far as like being able to take the jab or take the way to jab and come back towards Devin Haney and get him with a much bigger punch. So if he is able to, get the timing, the grasp of timing of Devin Haney and what he's doing with that jab, then he could come right back to him and make it to where like Devin Haney will have like second thoughts of throwing the jab, or at least trying to throw the jab, at the pace that he was doing, so he would have to, do something in order to make an adjustment. And also we got to see like how, how is that Bill's gonna be able to react to this, because he got, him, and then what is it, Bobby Benton on the other side with Regis Prograis. And Benton is a very good coach. And I know that MVO, you mentioned O'Shaquie Foster there when he had his win over Rocky Hernandez. Like Bobby Benton was there in his corner for that. So and I think that Bobby Benton is probably a underrated trainer in this game. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be really surprised if they're leaning heavily towards Devin Haney in this. But it looks like the odds makers are probably set the thing for Haney in Haney's favor in it. Like I said, it went heavily towards him as a 4-1 favorite going into this.
Yeah, and the line hasn't really moved at all since it was
Yeah.
announced. So I don't know, man.
That should tell y'all something. They know something.
Yeah, but I don't know. But what is it that they know? That's the
I
thing
don't
that has
know.
me intrigued. If you have him as a 4-1 favorite against a guy that's been at 140 his entire career, like I said, only one loss, and that was a close loss. Yeah, that's very interesting there. But like I said, with that being said, I mean, like I said, Boxing Academic, you one of our picks, and like I said, I'm leaning towards Prograis in this, and MVO's picking Prograis. So then that would mean that would give Haney his first loss of his professional career. And so, what would that mean as far as like the overall effect of the boxing game? Folks are saying like Devin Haney, has been making moves since he was young. Like you said, it started around 15, 16 years old as a professional, and has built his way up to getting to this particular status where not only was he getting the belts, but he's getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if he ends up losing this, what would it like his stock would kind of really be affected here, because folks are talking about him having a potential super fight with the likes of Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson later on down the line. But if he loses this, now where does it go? That wouldn't be a good look for him. And I don't think, and see, my thing is he moved up and he's been making those comments about being comfortable at 140 and that now I might eventually go to 147. Well, if that's the case, then win or lose, it don't look like he really wants to have those fights with a Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis, because he's like saying, I'm growing out of whatever it is, 135 or 140. So then what would be his next direction? I don't know. But yeah, if he loses this hometown too, that
Well,
would be definitely.
he certainly to me gets a lot of credit for even just taking this fight. Like, I think it's an amazing fight, to be honest. I was very excited to see this matchup. I'm surprised he took this matchup. I was hoping he would take the Tank fight, but obviously he
Yeah,
just doesn't think he can make the weight anymore. That's the only thing I could think of. He can't make the weight no more. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like he couldn't make the weight anymore. Because at like some point, what was it like within the summer or something, that
yeah,
maybe we would have saw that Tank and Devin would be fighting there at 135. But yeah, I'm thinking that he's saying that it's a wrap there at 135 for him going up to 140. But to kind of like challenge Regis Prograis, that's really something though, you know, because like I would have at least tried to get my feet wet on this or something like that, or fight a contender or something, before challenging the world champion. But I guess he's like, hey, let me just pick this guy. Like he could have fought like I don't know, a Jack Catterall or somebody like that. I know it wouldn't have been Hitchens, definitely not him.
yeah.
Or Steve Spark or something like Steve Spark. That could have been a good thing to kind of like get your feet wet there at the 140-pound division. But
Nah, we
Devin,
good.
like, no.
Nah. We don't care about Steve Spark.
But outside of that, like I mean, I just didn't see what other direction he had, So that was my thing about it. But yeah, he's kind of he's putting a lot on the line in this one by going ahead and taking this fight here against Regis Prograis, man. And And I think Regis Prograis is like saying, hey, by picking me, that's almost kind of like a level of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like he's saying, hey, I'm thinking like Regis Prograis is food here at 140. And I don't think that might be a good move there for Devin Haney, man. He'll have to he'll like I said, I just don't see like where it is where Devin Haney could do something to like hurt Regis Prograis at this point. And
Wasn't the other guy food for T.O. that he beat easy?
well,
Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
You never know. I think Josh Taylor been at 140 for too long.
Right. Yeah,
He's been talking about moving up for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm. Like even like after getting the undisputed title with that win over Ramirez, like he was like kind of like suggesting it. So like him having that fight against Jack Catterall, I mean maybe he was like saying, hey, I'm kind of bouncing in between if I'm going to be at 140 or 147. Then he has that performance against Jack Catterall, and then he doesn't have another fight until fighting Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Because remember, some folks were thinking that he would go up to 147 to fight Terrence Crawford. And that was what, 2021? So
who would?
That Josh Taylor was going to fight Terrence Crawford.
I'm glad he didn't.
I kind of wish he did, actually.
So Terrence Crawford can get another win against somebody that he on paper should already beat.
Listen, when you're that good, you're gonna, on paper, supposed to beat a lot of people. It's just a matter of fighting the nice names and fighting the accomplished people.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just too good for everybody.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I think Tank Davis is going to be suffering from that pretty soon. Like, everybody downplays his resume, but that's because he's so much better than people.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the downplaying of the resume, like that was the thing that you missed MVO the last time I had someone here with Zoe, because he always criticizes Tank Davis, man.
Yeah, he hates Tank.
Didn't he prove wrong on something, JR?
Yeah, he got me on the thing with the best win. I swore that
How you let Zoe of all people prove, like, catch you in something?
Wait, what happened?
So at one point when me and Zoe was talking about Tank Davis, he asked me what Tank Davis's best win was, right? I swore that I said Jose Zepeda, but I didn't. I said Hector Garcia. I was like, oh man. Oh, and as we know, that didn't necessarily age well as Hector Garcia went down to 130 and lost to Lamont Roach. But man,
I still think his best win is King Ra, but people really underestimate Ryan.
We'll see over the next 6 to 12 months here with Ryan Garcia. What he's going to do.
Ryan need to get them wide shots together.
Well, he needs to do something about that so-called shoulder roll that he's doing.
Yeah, that was horrible. I mean, he wasn't hitting him per se, but it's still the wrong person gonna be lighting him up if he try to do that.
Yeah, man. And I don't know what they're gonna do as far as like seeing what's going to happen next. But the thing about it is he's kind of like calling out Rolly Romero, and apparently the issue too was there was another potential matchup out there for him, and that was Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo ended up turning it down. And according to War Week, it wasn't just that 1.5. he had a considerable percentage of the pay-per-view that was going to be added on to it, and he still turned it down. So
it wasn't warranted. Is that what you're saying?
What in reference to Teofimo?
Yeah.
Teofimo would have got 1.5 off the rip and would have got the majority of the pay-per-view share. Considerable majority of the pay-per-view share. And he
turned it down.
Yep.
What was his reasoning?
He was talking about this thing about sponsorships and endorsements and all that other type of thing. He didn't mention the pay-per-view split. He just mentioned the guarantee. That was it. But he didn't say nothing about the pay-per-view split. But the thing about it is that the folks within Top Rank had put it out there that, hey, we're gonna invest in you. We'll put in not just this 1.5, but also this pay-per-view share. And he still said no.
You know, with him, let me be careful what I say because I don't want to get canceled. He be up one day and down the next day. And he's probably like, you know, how is he perceiving it that particular day?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but he's like, what was it? He was on Sean Porter's podcast, and you know, he was out there at the fights. What was that for that Benavidez joint, Benavidez Andre, and you know, that's where he was at in Vegas, where he said like he turned down that 1.5, and it was like, no, that wasn't just 1.5.
What was his last fight?
What, T.O.?
Yeah.
Remember, he won the thing with Taylor. That's when he won the belt with against Taylor.
Okay, so he on the high still. He just, you know, it's some people. I ain't saying it's him, but you know how like when you younger and you play ball or something, you don't want to lose, and you play a certain type of way to not lose, but you ain't playing necessarily to win. I ain't saying he doing that, but I'm just saying it's just like.
Yeah, but in this sense though, this is kind of like how he went about after he beat Lomachenko, right? He beat Lomachenko, he got all those belts, and then after that, he's like saying, "Oh, I'm the superstar, I'm the number one guy. You know, I should be getting all of this, everything," and that kind of like set him back. And you see that he was pretty much put on the shelf for a good little bit until he fought George Kambosos, and we seen what happened in that fight. Right. So now he had to work his way back, have a few fights, you know, have a couple of fights. And then what was it? He fought Sandor Martin at this time last year, where it was like a split decision where he thought like, oh, do I still got it? And then they put him in there against Josh Taylor, and he has the performance of his life, you know, pretty much against Josh Taylor and gets the win, clean win. And now he's the number one guy or the lineal champion at 140. And now it's like it looks like he's having that same type of attitude again, like, oh, I beat the top guy. I'm number one. Y'all should answer to me. Y'all should, you know, go ahead and bring in the Brinks truck for me and everything like that. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. You know, doesn't, you know, especially when you're dealing with, you know, guys in the business that have been there for decades, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, talking about not just like Bob Arum, we're talking about like Bruce Trampler or what is it? Carl Moretti, you know, or something like that. Like they've been in the business, you know, way too long to like say, hey, we're not going to, you know, put this much money up, you know, for somebody like that, especially when, you know, Top Rank themselves, they're going to have to deal with less TV dates next year.
Yeah,
not the pay-per-view, but you know, TV dates overall. So
with ESPN cutting back.
Yeah. So there's you know, working on adjustments too. So, you know, TL talking about, oh, I deserve this and that. Well, hey, the math ain't mathing, you know. So
I want to go back to something that you said earlier.
All right.
Rolly and Ryan would be an interesting fight to me.
Yeah.
Because they both do things that will help them and both do things that will hinder them with what the other person does good. And it'll make for an interesting fight. and they both got, pretty good power. I would think that Ryan's power is better.
And
right?
They're like quick twitch. Both of
They
them
what?
are like quick twitch type fighters. Like they're very quick with their punches. Like bam, bam. Like especially with their jabs and whatnot. But they're big shots that could change the course of a fight or change the level of a fight. Yeah, I don't know if Envio's still on with this, man. Because I think he like went on and
I'm
went
here.
back. Okay, yeah, all right, bet. Yeah, but I know that. What do you think about that fight, Rolly versus Ryan? Do you think that is a fight that people will be very interested in?
Oh, come on. Ryan will knock him out. We should know that.
It's King Ryan.
He might, but he gonna get touched in the process.
Yeah, that's
Ryan do some suspect stuff on defense.
That's the thing, man. Oh man, shout out to KQKC in the building, man. What's going on with you, man? Yo, definitely salute to you, man. Salute to you, brother. Been checking him out here on his YouTube channel. If y'all haven't checked him out, y'all check him out. He does a very, very good job too, as well, man. But man, Rolly versus Ryan, man, I don't know, man. Like going into that fight, it's like, hey, like Box Academic said, like you could have it to where like both fighters could win the fight. There could be somewhere both fighters.
No, you can't. Are you fucking kidding me?
I think they both gonna have success at some point in the fight.
I don't think so. I think Ryan beats him up and stops him easily.
You think he blows Rolly Romero out?
Yeah.
With them wide shots, Rolly's shots I think are straighter than Ryan's.
Rolly can't throw a straight punch to save his life. What are we talking about here?
I can't say that. I can't say that, Box Academic. I can't say that.
So when he come on the inside, his punches. I'm saying when Ryan throw his shot, Ryan lift his elbow out, lift his elbow up, and then he throws the hook.
Yeah.
And what's his name does like overhand stuff like that, but the overhand to get there before that elbow up, then hook swing will get there. I mean, he fast. Don't get me wrong, but with what's his name throwing his head and like kind of being wild and. He kind of throw clubbing punches too. He throw like clubbing punches.
But here's the thing. When we saw Rolly get smoked by Tank, what was the punch he got hit with? Do you remember? That knocked him down face first into the ropes?
It was a count or something.
It was that check. A little
check hook?
Yeah, that little check hook.
But does Tank lift his elbow up and then throw his hook? Does he do that?
Ryan has an excellent check hook.
But it's probably gonna hit him in the back of the head before it hit him on the ear or the chin. That's all I'm saying.
Nah. Well, we saw
he throw it too wide. That's my only problem.
Well, the check hook worked for him this past weekend.
Yeah, it did.
Did you watch the fight? Did you watch it?
I did watch it. I thought Ryan won easily. The fight wasn't close.
You started yawning. That's how you felt about the fight.
Listen, the fight wasn't close. People make it seem like Ryan fought in a close fight. It wasn't a close fight.
I ain't saying it was close. I'm just saying it was.
There was Ryan knocking the rust off with a new trainer.
Okay, that's fair. He's knocking the rust off. He's looked better. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he's looked better. I think he's gonna smoke Rolly, and I think that should be the fight that's next for him. Because there's really nothing standing in the way of them fighting for the WBA belt.
Man, you got who is it complaining like, oh, I should be the next in line. O'Hara Davies, like come on, man. Like, I've said this for a while with Davies. Like, why in the world would you try to get in the way of that fight? Why? Because like my thing is, okay, you fight Rolly now, you're gonna get paid a certain amount fighting Rolly now. But if you just sit out and wait and just let him have that fight, then you probably just you could get step aside for one, and then two, you get the winner of that fight, and you're gonna get paid more money.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna need to pay him step aside money for the simple fact that the WBA has already ordered the fight with
Fight with
Barroso.
with Barroso.
And that fight is delayed because of O'Hara Davies
O'Hara
visa
Davies.
issues.
Yeah.
So if I'm Rolly Romero, I request an exception because now I want to come back right away. I'm requesting an exception because this guy is not going to be ready by the time we're supposed to have the fight. Because his fight with Barroso, which the WBA already ordered, is going to have to move to sometime in January or February.
February. Yep.
So if he fights in January or February, there's no way that he would be ready to fight again by March or April. So that leaves the opening for Rolly to come back in March or early April to fight Ryan Garcia.
And I mean, that's the wild thing too. Like Barroso was able to get there, man. He was able to be he was gonna be there at, what was that, Houston or whatnot, for that fight. He was out there at the airport ready to go over to, it was man O'Hara Davies that was having the issues. So
well,
like, come on,
one guy is associated with a drug dealing, murdering Irish cartel leader, and the other guy's Barroso. So of course Barroso was able to get into the country with no problem. So
oh man, yeah, that's something, man. You know, there was. I'm like, yeah, if Davies was really about something like that, he would have went ahead and had that fight with Barroso. That was supposed to be on Saturday, but nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That's why you ended up having what was it? The thing there, what it was like, you had Shane Mosley Jr. on the card, and then you had Floyd Schofield end up being the co-feature. You know, so yeah, Davies kind of really messed that up, man. So yeah, they might as well go ahead and have Rolly versus Ryan next year by around like February or March. That's probably the best route on that, man.
Now, what were your thoughts on what you saw from Floyd Schofield, and what do you think is next for him? Because he's talking about names that I don't think he has business talking about, but I'm curious.
Listen, I know we talked with his coach, or one of his coaches there, Coach Ronnie Shields, yesterday. Man, he looked like he was like a buzzsaw in that fight, like a buzzsaw. And of course, he was on the joint with that Tank Ryan card, beforehand. And he's had 3 fights. He was able to pull off 3 fights this year.
Yeah.
He's ranked number 5 in the WBA right now. So they're trying to see what's going to be, going on. Of course, you're going to have Tank be elevated to full champion. But with those rankings there with the WBA, he's going to see about trying to, make moves within those rankings. But I know that he's mentioned a couple of guys there, 135. One of them is now a world champion. I think the other one is that world champion stablemate, or quote unquote little brother. Yeah, but I don't think those fights will happen, man. So what other potential fights could be out there? I don't think he'll fight. Who do they got now? Like, they already got Zepeda has a fight coming up. So
he's not fighting Zepeda.
He's not fighting. I know he's not fighting Zepeda. So then, like, who will they have out there for him?
They're probably going to have him fight Jojo Diaz. JoJo's getting passed around now.
Yeah, he is getting passed around. But but yo, like they're gonna really like pay JoJo Diaz for him to get folded. I'm sorry, but JoJo Diaz is gonna get folded by this kid. He's gonna get folded.
I can't remember the last time JoJo Diaz looked good in a fight.
Probably that first half of the fight against Gary Russell Jr.
He got his ass kicked in that fight.
I know he did, but still. I'm like, that's the only thing I remember, man. Like even when he maybe the Tevin Farmer fight. Yeah, the Tevin Farmer.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'll have that. So that's probably the last time, that he's looked good in a fight. But yeah, he's seriously fell off. So I don't know how he's gonna
what they should do is see if they can make Floyd Schofield against Frank Martin. That's what they should do. He's not getting Shakur. Or call up Top Rank and see if y'all can make a fight against Moritalia.
Like I said, it could be either Moritalia or Keyshawn or Matt. Well, the thing is, that would be something for those would be the most interesting fights. I mean, they got of course they got a whole bunch of other fighters out there. They still got Maxie Hughes, but they ain't gonna give up no Maxie Hughes, man.
Yeah,
do that. So yeah, who else is out there, man? Yeah, I don't know. Murataya, I don't think they're gonna do Murataya either. That's my thing, man. You know what? I know you talking about Frank Martin, right? I know who they should have. They should pull up there for Floyd Schofield and see if he could just take this guy out of the paint once and for all. Okay? And you know who I'm talking about. He didn't take him out of the paint for what he did, right? Listen, I know I'm a supposed media person, reporter, whatever it is, but put up Floyd Schofield against Edwin De Los Santos.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So he can show people what you're supposed to do with a guy with the fighting style of Edwin De Los Santos. Come on, man. We don't there's gotta be a way to get Edwin De Los Santos.
Oh my God.
I'll never forgive him for that. What I went through. I watched that whole thing. The whole thing. I stayed up until 1:30 to see that. Come on, man.
Well, thank God I didn't stay up to watch it.
Listen. I was telling Boxing Academic, man. After about around 5 or 6, Boxing Academic was saying, listen, if I'm not seeing much after this, man, I'll go to bed. Man, I should have did the same thing.
What fight was that?
Shakur.
Oh yeah, I definitely went to bed.
Oh my God! Yo.
I mean, the product that they gave us is and they didn't do him no favors for 12 a.m., 12:30, whatever time it was. Probably 1.
Yeah, come on, man. What was that what a record for the least punches landed or something were thrown up the
championship fight. Yeah.
Come on, man. That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible, man. That was horrible.
Shane Mosley Jr. fights up and down to his competition.
Yeah.
He can't raise his level to a certain threshold. He can only raise his level up to a certain threshold, but he fight down to the competition that be in front of him, though, which is unfortunate at times.
Well, I mean, Shane Mosley Jr., at least he was able to get the stoppage in this fight card, but
true.
But he is we don't know where he is at this point in the middleweight division, though. what are they gonna do with him next? You know, like I don't see like he ain't gonna fight one of them Liams. You know, all right, who else is out there, man? Like they can't put him up against like no Cornflake or Elijah Garcia. They can't do that. So who will they put him up against? They'll just have to bring up some more fighters that he could fight. You know. So I don't know what they're gonna be able to do with him after him getting this win. So yeah, that's gonna be that might end up being a bad break for him. They might have to wait a good little bit before they can find another fight there for Shane Mosley. I mean, he's kind of been improving, over the past few fights or whatever it is. But
I mean, he got better his whole career. He been improving his whole career from a contender. He's better. I mean, his culmination was the Gabe Rosado fight.
What he needs to do is fight Fernando Vargas' son.
At this point?
Yeah, why not? Vargas versus Mosley. You might be able to trick a few people.
Throw a 2 on it.
Yep. Might be able to trick a few people.
I mean, hey, what is it? What you had the thing with what Ali versus Frazier in women's boxing. So
yeah, exactly.
You can do it for this, I mean, shoot, they've been trying to do Eubank versus Ben for how long? Like they still can't even put Eubank versus Ben together, man. Shoot. I would have said they could put that thing in Dubai, but they ain't gonna do that either. So
they can't put it in Dubai because then it'll be unsanctioned because these Saudi Arabia cards have been sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. So if they're not willing to sanction a fight, what commission is going to sanction this fight?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I don't know, but hey, if they're not gonna sanction it, then it's who knows, man. Who knows? What is it? Real quick. Oh, real quick though, before I go into the thing with the other card, MVO, I know you watched the thing there with Deontay Wilder, there with Brian Custer, and I know you don't like Brian Custer. But there was one thing that was mentioned in reference to Deontay Wilder though, and he said like I don't know. He said like he was a little bit bothered about saying that he's not the face of boxing and that Tank Davis is the face of boxing. Like I don't know where that came from though. Like I guess he said like what I've been here. I've been WBC world champion. For what has it been 6 or so years. I've been, knocking out just about everybody that I fought or knocked down everybody that I fought. That, folks should be, gravitating towards me. But, it's looking like, folks are gravitating towards Tank Davis, So, like, what did you think about that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, what's boxing academic? He's supposed to be the smart one.
Oh, I kind of almost fell asleep. What y'all was saying? I'm sorry. I ain't go to sleep for real last night. You ain't boring, JR. I just kind of was dozing off. I just ate too much. I got the itis. Is JR still?
Yeah, JR's there.
Is his screen still or is he moving?
Oh, I don't know because I'm not looking at my screen.
Blink if you're not in the second place, JR. Blink. Yeah, his screen look weird. What he asked though? What he asked?
You just made me lose my train of thought. I forgot now.
Well,
I think the show's come to an abrupt end.
Nah, he gonna come back.
But In the meantime, can you break down this card on Saturday?
I don't know who's on the card. I let
You
him
got
tell me who's on the card.
Liam Paro against Montana Love. Any interest in that one?
I mean, I know who Montana Love is, but not really on my part. But I'll let you tell me your interest.
Well, I'm not interested in anything but the main event.
Oh, okay. Any other fighters?
Nah, not really. I know on the ESPN card this weekend they got Conceição, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, or Robeisy. No, Robeisy Ramirez. One of the,
Conceição against Robeisy Ramirez.
oh, it's Robeisy Ramirez against some guy that sucks. Yeah, Robeisy Ramirez, because they trying to build up Ramirez from when Inoue wants to move up.
Man, yo,
Oh, there you go.
I was like, what the heck is going on in here, man? And I'm getting infiltrated, man. They tapping my stuff over here, man.
The NBA is a suspect.
Right, man. Oh man, but yeah, man. I didn't know what Wilder was coming at with those type of comments, man. So I was like, I mean, yeah, he's done the work. You know what I'm saying? He's been putting it out for the American boxing scene for all this time. But I think it's something where it's like, does he think that he's getting the respect that he feels like he deserves? I think that's part of it.
Yeah, that'll never happen. He will never probably until he leave and they make his movie and then they show everybody getting knocked out and then maybe him fighting Tyson Fury losing a couple times and then Fury win the belts and then he fight Fury one more time and he knock him out and win the belts. That's when people are probably give him his respect. But to me, that whole between Tank and Ryan face of boxing, that shit was just a promotion. I get it. Everybody believed it the same way everybody believed in Floyd Mayweather and the MMA fighter Conor McGregor and
Yeah.
how he was like, this a heist. Everybody was so into that. And I was just like in the bar, just like looking at people, just like, are you kidding me? And I think it's no different where they tried to paint that fight as the face of boxing.
Right, yeah.
It's a marketing ploy. I mean, it worked, obviously, but Deontay Wilder shouldn't feel. I mean, he got a right to feel disrespected because people are gonna keep disrespecting him. But shit, he shouldn't feel no way about like them being the face of boxing because it's a different type of face. Gervonta Davis obviously is. He does mean something to the sport, but in the grand scheme, could you say Wilder mean more?
That's a very interesting question.
It's a very and it's a different audience too, right?
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
heavyweights always take precedent.
Right. I mean, that's how it's pretty much always been in the sport of boxing. That the heavyweights have, basically been the top level of interest in, not just, with boxing fans, but, overall in general. And so it's just been, the thing recently, like y'all mentioned with Floyd Mayweather, where at that time that interest in heavyweight boxing was out, but at the same time you still had that era where it was the Klitschko's and all these other fighters from outside the country. You really didn't have that much going on in the American scene because there wasn't that much depth in the in the American boxing market. So now you got Deontay Wilder coming in, and he's like the first guy out of the U.S. in a long time that could really be a serious player in the heavyweight division. And so when he gets the world title, then that should have been it. That should have been the culmination. That should have been the point where everybody should be backing him. But even then, it was like they didn't really push towards him being the superstar or try to make him to be a superstar. It didn't happen until like what 3 or 4 years down the line. You know,
His image will never. It will never, in a sense, allow him to be that. Like people love him now because they obviously see his demeanor, and you could tell the dude is a genuine dude. But it's like, what have you done for me lately? If he get too many 1 minute knockouts, and then he fight once a year, what you expect is, it's like it's not even like a lot of tape.
yeah, but even with that, like they've been trying to get him into different avenues too. Like they've been putting him in appearances for different things or different shows. So they've been trying to increase his level of exposure, but I guess it just hasn't turned out to where like he could be like one of those superstars or megastars in the thing because like I said, I mean it's not like how it's like maybe MVO could like get into this though. Did would they did they have him? Do they put Wilder, like how they push Wilder different than how they push Errol Spence?
What do you mean by that?
As far as like saying, okay, we could build with Errol Spence as far as like, him defending his titles, like I said, you having these fights.
But he is own promoter in a sense.
What with Errol?
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them, yeah. So, but even with that, like you like you have something where okay, he's established at like say for example with the thing with AT&T Stadium for Errol Spence, right? Like he's had a couple of fights there already, right? But could they have been able to do that with Wilder for say like he should have been the one to like try to open that market in Atlanta, not Tank Davis. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I so wish he did that. Like I never understood that, and I do wish he fought in Atlanta
I mean, you
for
have
selfish
those couple of
reasons.
fights in you have the couple of fights in Alabama, yeah, but still, like you could have, jumped on the opportunity to try to get to a larger market in Atlanta and try to resurrect that, boxing scene in Atlanta. Like you had, of course, Evander Holyfield that's been, from the area. So why not try to, tap into that market again with the heavyweight? But they ain't really do that. You know? So
And
yeah,
it's a different crowd too. I feel like it's similar, but it's different because I think Tank fans are probably more flash in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's people who want to see knockouts, but it's a different type of people who want to see knockouts. It's similar, but it's a little different in the fan that I picture who want to see Tank fight.
But but the thing with that one too was they kind of moved him in that kind of direction of where, yeah, he has those knockouts and everything like that, but they pushed it like it was like an event. Like when they had the thing in Atlanta that we went to, academic, like that was like their first move in trying to make Tank Davis like be in a megastar or like a superstar or something like that. Because right after that fight against Gamboa, that's when they started to have him be in main event pay-per-views. So it's like, okay, if we're able to invest in somebody like Tank Davis like that, like why couldn't they have, like somebody could have done that as far as like invest towards Deontay Wilder being that type of superstar or whatever it is. Like
The
that
difference
was the
is
thing.
Floyd Mayweather. You got
Yeah,
somebody
that's a point.
who got a little money to spend to make you look good, to bring, and every time they have a fight, they just miraculously getting into it, and then they back friends after the fight. So that same, drama sell when they probably don't really have nothing going on. They just do that just so people can get into it.
Yep.
So I mean, Floyd helped him. You know, he helped bring them numbers. I mean, it's Tank doing it, but I'm just saying, when you got somebody who paving the way and helping you out with it, it's just a totally different thing when you got Wilder who's essentially doing it on his own back.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. It's definitely a good point. Like,
Great
yeah,
point.
so having that type of influence there with Floyd Mayweather and with Leonard Ellaby, behind you, that's a whole different thing than just coming in by himself, or what it is like you had there with Deontay Wilder.
And even
Oh
Badu Jack ain't no mega star, man, but people support Badu Jack. Badu Jack get a lot of opportunities. He show up. I mean, he always be on other people's cards, on them big cards, so that I guess that don't count. So never mind.
yeah, I mean you do have that, but he's been involved with the with those Floyd Mayweather cars. Like I said, with that with Tank Gamboa, he was like on that with what is it who he was there against Jean Pascal, I think it was. So yeah, he's been able to get himself in a position to have those type of fights or get into world title fights, But one way or another, he's able to win some of those key fights in order to get himself into that position. So there's that. But with that being said, man, I mean, I kind of like went through, that fight card coming up with Haney versus Prograis, and we got this stuff over in Pembroke Pines also with Top Rank on ESPN, Robeisy Ramirez with Rafael Espinoza. What do you say with that one? Like that, man, they probably favor Robeisy Ramirez for a knockout on that.
Oh
So,
wow.
you know, what I thought I saw it. Yeah, man. Like that's a wild thing, right? Espinoza is, let me see that record again. 21-0, right? 21-0 going up against Robeisy Ramirez. And DraftKings has Robeisy Ramirez as a minus 1100 favorite. So that should tell you all you need to know with that one. You know what I'm saying? Uh so you got that, and then Xander Zayas is going up against Jorge Forte in the co-feature. But I mean, the other ones are like mainly prospects that'll be on there. Richard Torres, Damian Neba, Jahai Tucker, as we mentioned, Bruce Carrington, and Rohan Polanco. So that's that card, man. But that pretty much like covers it here for the midweek report. Shout out to Envio and the Boxing Academic for joining in on the midweek report. Like I said, just getting back into a groove here. Had to take a trip out. Surprise my mom's for her birthday last week, so that's what I ended up doing. So that's why we didn't had no shows last week.
Yeah.
But we'll pick it back up here, and then we'll see what happens in San Francisco.
Final prediction.
Regis, hey, like I said, we pick Prograis. I'm leaning towards Prograis, man. I'm leaning towards Prograis.
What
Now you
about you,
said,
Boxing Academic?
yeah, Boxer.
Devin Haney. Devin Haney.
He's picking a dream. He's
I
picking the
don't
dream.
see in this production, if what's his name don't knock him out, I don't see how Devin could lose if he doesn't knock him out. Because everything lined up for Devin to win.
Mm. So
So
you're
it
saying
would
he's
be
gonna get that
doubly
home cooking?
disappointing if he doesn't win.
He gonna get home cooking, and I heard another comment.
That what you said, MVO?
I don't know. Wow, my brain just fucking blanked just now. Um,
Cause you sleepy like I am, nigga.
Yeah, you been going to sleep early these days, MVO. Like what's
I
going on?
know because I'm up like 4:30 every morning.
Oh Lord. Oh man, that can't cut it, man. Come on, man. Gotta at least at least get a few things in before you check out, man. Like I don't even check out that early. Like, jeez.
Hey, you don't
Uh,
work, you don't eat.
Hey,
nah,
that's true. That's true.
but I
That
just
is.
this is gonna be such a good fight, man. I can't wait. I'm thinking Regis is gonna win. I'll be pleasantly surprised if Devin wins. I
Okay.
think Devin Haney winning is more important to the sport.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Which
Definitely is
means
more
that
important to the
it
sport.
is that much harder for Regis Prograis to win if he don't knock him out.
Okay, conspiracy theorists.
I'm just saying,
All right.
isn't it Devin's promotion who's putting this on too?
Yeah, but he got a promotional company like you or I got a promotional company.
Yeah.
What's
Like
the promotional
GBC
company now?
Promotions are coming. Devin Haney Promotions he got, but
Oh, okay. So so it ain't no big promotion doing it.
Yeah, Matchroom.
Matchroom's covering the rest of the fight the rest of the fight card basically.
And ain't he on Matchroom? Essentially, like co-partnership with Matchroom.
We don't know if that deal is a one fight deal or if it runs.
Right, yeah.
He got some deal with Matchroom, which means that Matchroom has an incentive for him to win. It's the same thing.
Okay.
All right. We'll see.
Just the fix is in.
I'm not necessarily saying it's a fix. I'm just saying that if Regis Prograis don't knock him out, Regis Prograis already probably gonna get outboxed. But if he don't knock him out, he very well ain't gonna win.
All right, I'll put it this way. I'll pose this then. If Haney gets to win and becomes the WBC super lightweight champion, would he be the front runner, or it's basically the end of the year anyway? Will he be able to get fighter of the year, or would you pick him for fighter of the year?
Who he beat?
It would be Lomachenko and Prograis.
See, people just only fight a couple times. He ain't fight no more. Just them two.
Just them two. But the thing about it is like the candidates that people are putting up, they've only fought like 2 times a year. And then they put somebody else up that's only fought 1 time. And that's Terrence Crawford. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gonna say, oh, the other guy, Inoue.
Crawford or Inoue?
Yeah, they're gonna say Inoue, but depending on how he win, potentially. But I mean, I gotta see what other fights are out there because I just don't know how impressive Regis Prograis really is.
Well, I mean, I'll say what would be a better thing to watch the Zepeda fight where he won the WBC belt. Like maybe that'll be a better gauge for you.
Prograis?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, like that fight or he fought Red Catch. What was that on Fight TV or something? It was. Yeah, he had, he fought Ivan Redcatch and some Tyrone McKenna in Dubai and, that type of stuff. But watch the Zepeda fight. That would be the one to, kind of gauge where he would be at against Devin Haney. So that would probably be the better one to watch. So there's that. But, yeah, that being said, it's about, close to 9 p.m. Eastern time, closing up this midweek report. Here for December 6th, 2023. We'll get right back at it, like I said, with the weekly podcast live Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time here on the Boxing Source YouTube channel. If y'all liked what we were talking about here, y'all be sure to hit the like button on the way out. Y'all be sure to tell a friend to extend this boxing conversation, and we'll catch y'all later. Until then, peace out, y'all.
Peace.